I'm writing desk and you don't know Vanity and Dust. So Vanity and Dust is the first novel by Cheryl Low. It was published in 2017 by World Weaver Press, and it is one of my favorite books. The book follows the slutty pansexual fairy prince Vondre Fen as he moves his way through a high society of this lush, beautiful fairy tale sort of realm. It mixes this fairy tale aesthetic with this more modern kind of take on it. There are cars, there's a more modern sensibility to things, but it still builds on all these themes that you are familiar with. So when we first start out the book, Vaughn is completely self-absorbed. He's beautiful, he's privileged, and he doesn't have to worry about anything else. After all, why should he? He's from the High. The realm is split into 3 main districts: the High, the Main, and the Low. At the High, you've got the privileged of society, the 3 royal families, McGrin, Bellholm, and Pym, that are supposed to control everything, but they don't really, because really, it's the queen who is in control. She's never actually seen in the book, but we hear a lot about her. She's incredibly jealous of anybody who would threaten her power, meaning that she keeps a tight grip on everything. People aren't allowed to use their own natural magic because it threatens her own. So, how does she keep people in control? Well, she does it through pleasure. She uses pixie dust. Yes, pixie dust. Not that kind of pixie dust, not the Peter Pan kind. No, the Peter Pan kind of pixie dust is the good kind of pixie dust. But this kind of pixie dust, this is a drug. You see, they take pixies, stuff them full of magic, and then grind them up like a goose for pate. Okay, not exactly like pate. No, not quite, but close. It's close, okay? It's similar. What they do with the pixies is they feed them full of magic, they roast them alive, they grind them up, and they turn them into a powder. And this powder goes into everything. It goes into tea, it goes into cake, it goes into cigarettes, which everyone in the realm takes part in, especially up in the High. And this drug, it keeps them in this stupor. Everything feels good, everything is beautiful, and they don't have to care about anything. Nothing matters because they feel great. After all, this is a dystopia. The people at the High may have everything that they want, like the capital in the Hunger Games. But since we're actually seeing it through their point of view, we are realizing that it's not as great as it's made out to be. It's not that they really get everything that they want. They get all the drugs that they want. They get all the sex that they want. What they are missing is self-actualization. They have no real need to better themselves. Sure, they want to manipulate everything else around them, but it's not for any real purpose. It's just to have fun. And because of this, they're not moving forward in life. In fact, they are stuck in stasis. They can't even have children. There's nothing new to their world. Everything is just the same over and over. All the days repeat, which lends itself to the prose of the book, because the book sort of blends together into this mishmash of timeline. You're not really sure how long it has been between events, and that really works to its favor. It's not confusing, it just works. Now the classes are very stratified. People in the Low never come up to the High, except for one. The prince's valet, Grace Alon Serrano, picked for him by his sister. Grace is a cold, calculating woman. She does what the prince needs her to, always cleaning up his messes, always making sure he gets to his appointments, taking him where he needs to go. But there's a lot more to her. She seems to be in control of him, even though she's the servant. And yet, someone else seems to be pulling her strings. But I won't get too much into that, because that gets into spoiler territory. And one thing I definitely don't want to do is spoil this book for you. So how does Grace manage to get to the top? Well, it's not entirely clear. She started in the Low, the daughter of a dressmaker, who made a coat for her daughter out of a discarded dress owned by the Lady Bellholm. And when the lady saw Grace wandering around wearing this coat, she decided to have Grace's mother killed. And from there, Grace winds up working for the Bellholms. And somehow, she manages to get picked to be the prince's valet. Who knows how? But it's clear that she has something going on. She's part of something greater, something that is trying to manipulate the prince. He's also joined by his sister Faye, as well as members of the other royal houses. Now, the royal houses, they are full of drama. They're constantly at each other's throats, constantly in conflict with one another. Someone is selling bad dust in the realm. Someone in one of these three houses, and leaders of all three houses are getting upset about it because that means that there are deaths in their district. And it also means that someone is threatening the queen's monopoly. After all, the queen is using dust to keep everyone under control. But with more and more bad dust going around, dust that is making people go insane, that means that the queen is starting to take notice. That means that people are starting to not want to use dust. And if people don't use dust, they might wake up to what's going on in their realm. They might finally realize that they can never see the sky because of the clouds. They might realize that there's an ash fall all around their realm, but that there might be something outside of it. They might start to realize that there's more to their world. This is a dystopia, but it's kind of a Marie Antoinette dystopia. The people don't eat bread, they eat cake, literally, for every single meal. And that really gives you an idea of what this world is like. Everything is sugar-coated. Everything is sickeningly sweet. It's no substance, nothing real to it. That's not to say that the book itself doesn't have substance. It has tons of it. Something is going on in this realm. There is a mystery to be had, but it is also pulling the prince into it. After all, he winds up getting a taste of the bad dust and goes insane himself. And the only person who can break him out of it is the only person who actually cares enough about him to do so. Grace. Someone who he's actually been starting to fall in love with, realizing that he wants her as more than just his valet. Things have a lot of twists and turns from there. Every time you think that the action is over, a new thing will rise up in its place. It's got a bunch of little mini climaxes leading up to one huge explosive climax. And throughout the whole thing, there is themes of classism. It seems like a takedown of modern celebrity culture. After all, the people in the high don't care about the people in the low. And if they did, they could actually create change. But the queen doesn't want change, so she keeps them from caring. Apathy is abundant in this world. But that doesn't mean that the people in the high are completely in control. No, they actually have no control over their lives, which is part of what makes Vaughn such an interesting character. If he was always in control, he'd be pretty boring, but he isn't. He's got a lot of charm about him. He's witty, he's fun, and he has no control over his own life. Everyone is controlling him. Everyone is keeping secrets from him. And once he finally starts to wake up to things, he realizes that there are things worth fighting for. Additionally, it's not like the people in the high have nothing to worry about. No, there are dangers. While they eat the pixies in turn eat them. Like I said, the pixies are fed magic, and no one in the realm has more magic than the people in the high. First, they have their innate magic that they are born with, that they're not allowed to use because the queen won't let them. But they also cover themselves in magical spells, in charms, to make themselves more beautiful, to make themselves literally sparkle, change their hair color, change their eye color. The pixies are kept away by safety lights, but once the lights go out, it's time to literally eat the rich. So it's got a bit of a communistic vibe to it. You know, like I said, it's a Marie Antoinette sort of tale. The people at the bottom are starting to rise up. There is a revolution brewing in the realm. And once it finally comes to light, things are going to change. But not in this book. No, there is a sequel coming. In fact, there's a whole series. It is just part 1 of the Crown and Ash series. Part 2 is coming out this September, and you know I am going to be first in line to grab it. So now you know about Vanity and Dust. I hope you check it out. And remember, madness is no excuse for bad manners or wasted tea. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. I know that I've been getting a lot of comments lately saying that people want more Batman Beyond videos, and I might do some eventually, but I do have other ideas, like this one. So this is basically the pilot, you could say, for my new show, You Don't Know, where I get to talk about the weird, obscure things that I know a lot about that you might not. So if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what your favorite obscure book is down in the comments. And I've got a cat trying to chew my microphone cord, so I will see you. Bye. Who's interrupting Daddy's takes? Who's interrupting Daddy's takes? You are. You are. Oh, oh.